Hello and welcome back to another episode of Career Path. I am your host, Katalina. Today we will be discussing getting involved in your industry. And to discuss this topic with me, I have Amber Russo. Amber is the president and principal of Kino Financial Corporation, LLC, an RMAI certified debt buyer, and Amber also serves as a secretary for the RMAI board of directors. Amber, I am so excited to have you on. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
My pleasure. Well, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. I mean, I don't think my story is that much different than a lot of folks in the industry. You don't plan on getting into debt buying. So I started working for a collection law firm 18 years ago as like an entry-level employee. Quickly decided it was something that I liked. I became their director of operations, stayed there for several years, and then made a transition to another collection law firm. When I sort of got into that space, I said, your clients aren't original creditors like my previous law firm. Like, who are these companies? And when I found out that they were debt buyers, I sort of was exposed to that world. And fast forward 7 years ago, I was given the opportunity to create Kino Financial with my business partner. And, we have grown to 8 states. We actively purchase in 8 states. I have a network of, 14 servicers. And I'm just happy to have my spot in the industry.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love hearing about your background. And I chose you specifically for this topic because I know about how involved you are in this industry and just getting involved in general. So to kick this off, I would love to ask you, what does getting involved mean to you?
Well, I think, look, we're going to talk a little bit about what I do in my personal life, as well as, how I'm involved in the industry. And I will say, look, if you know me, you know that I'm not a wallflower. I'm not somebody that, sort of quietly follows along. So for me, getting involved was a way to, have my voice be heard, whether you're talking about, community events that are important to me or within our industry. So, it was, and quite frankly, I was approached by a lot of my mentors and, the folks that have come before me and they said, look, like, you'd be good to get involved and you'd be somebody that's right for that, opportunity. So I'm grateful for that.
And you touched on several different ways about getting involved. So in your community itself, whether that's through charity work or other items or other activities, then there's, of course, industry events, and then there's associations. And I know you are very involved in one particular association, the one we mentioned earlier, where you are a secretary for the RMAI board of directors. On top of that, I know you are on committees because I actually met you in a committee. We were on the membership committee together last year, which was fantastic. Can you talk a little bit about being on a committee and what that's like?
Yep. I think that if you're looking to sort of put your foot in the water of like getting involved with an association, I'll speak specifically to RMAI, getting on a committee is sort of the first step. Find the one that speaks to you and to like your, abilities in terms of, well, do I want to be on membership and do some outreach to fellow members, new members, potential members? Am I interested in fundraising and, making calls to folks and helping them understand RMAI's advocacy efforts and why we could use their contributions? If you get on a committee that sort of speaks to what you want to do, you're going to enjoy it and you're going to serve the organization that you're a part of. I think the other benefit to that is that you get to know what we're up to. serving on a committee, you're like, oh, I didn't know that was an initiative of RMAI's.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're participating, you certainly do. So the committee sort of is that first step. And then from there, as you continue to sort of decide, well, I want to put more of my time and effort into the organization that I'm a part of and that serves our industry. That's really where running to the board comes in, deciding that you want to make that extra commitment and be involved in your organization. That's really the next step.
That's awesome. And for somebody who has never been on a committee before, last year was my first time on a committee, so it was very different for me. Can you describe what it's like, what being on a committee is like for somebody who's never been on one before?
Sure. So your committee chairs, who are board members usually, or they are people that have, been involved in the industry a long time and been selected by a board member to sort of chair that committee or co-chair that committee. They will set sort of the cadence for your meetings. Typically they're monthly. You'll get an agenda. You'll know kind of what we're up to, what your committee has been tasked with, and sort of how we'll divvy up those assignments. And, for example, if you're on editorial, you're working with those chairs to put out the digital dispatch and the magazine and social media posts. So again, it really, if it speaks to your talent, it's where you can kind of put your efforts. And RMAI appreciates, the resources that we have within our membership, right? So we look for people that want to get involved, where it's appropriate, where it makes sense.
Absolutely. So what committees do you lead and why?
So right now I co-chair membership, and, the goal for membership committee is to check in regularly with all of RMAI's membership and to also be recruiting new members of the organization. So I love co-chairing membership committee. We have a good time and we get to meet a lot of new folks in all different categories of membership. I also chair the Affiliate Advisory Council, which, the goal of that council is to advise the board from the perspective of all of our affiliate members.
Okay.
And that, right. And so, the affiliates, they do a great job of supporting the organization with a lot of their sponsorship and a lot of their, they are our exhibitors at our conferences. But oftentimes they're not, consulted about education opportunities or, do other affiliates understand the value that comes from being members of the RMAI organization? So that we're working on that initiative now to make sure that other affiliates understand, like, look, there's an opportunity here to participate in the RMAI organization.
Yeah, it's a way of giving them a voice.
Yeah. And then I'm also very involved with the state legislative committee. And I've served as an Arizona chair of that committee for years. But now I also co-chair that as a member of the board.
See, this is why I chose you for this. You get involved everywhere. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I certainly have my hands in a few things. And I've been lucky to have experienced other committees as well in my time involved in the organization. I was on the legislative fundraising committee prior to ever being a member of the board. I was, sort of
that was
recruited there for my... Yeah, it really was. It was my entry into the organization. And got handed off the silent auction. And it was something that, again, I was just lucky from my mentors to be able to say, like, look, take this and run with it. I mean, we had some of our best years of the silent auction. And it was really a way that I could see how we could get money from our membership and then put it to use on the other side, where RMAI advocacy efforts are focused.
Yeah.
And I also spent some time on editorial, which, was a great experience. But again, I will recommend to anybody watching this, go where your talents are. I'm not, was not
Yeah.
necessarily mine. I also co-chaired education last year, and it's great to sort of see the workings of how all of these committees, intertwine to make us a successful organization.
Absolutely. And to speak to what you just said, when I first started, I did the membership committee with you because I wanted to meet people. I wanted to get more involved in the community by making relationships. And after I did that, I really enjoyed it. And you guys sent out that survey saying, hey, do you want to be on a committee again? And I was like, absolutely. I definitely want to be on a committee again. And I put down that either I wanted to do membership again or editorial. And I chose editorial because I have a background in copywriting and I love writing. It is a huge passion of mine. So I did exactly what you said. You picked something that you have a passion for. And I have been really enjoying it so far. It's been a great time on this committee.
No, that's great. But that's of course where you're going to get the most value too, right? I mean, if you feel like I don't want to make these fundraising calls. I've got enough calls that I have to make in my own business. It's sort of, a lose-lose for everybody. The best outcome is that you select something or volunteer for something that you're going to enjoy and that we're going to get the value out of your participation.
Yeah,
so,
where you're passionate about.
Yeah. So I would tell you, I mean, all of the leadership, we value having the volunteers that want to participate on different committees. So
absolutely. And speaking about being passionate and wanting to participate in something, I know you are very passionate about getting involved in your community as well. And in particular, you had mentioned before, Make-A-Wish. Can you tell us a little bit about that, getting involved in your community, the importance of that, and your background with Make-A-Wish?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, I no longer serve on the Wishmakers Council. I did do it for 2 years. It is a significant time commitment, but I will, of course, chat about it because I want anybody that is interested in participating with Make-A-Wish or donating to Make-A-Wish, please do. You probably know that they serve children typically with like terminal diseases or terminal illnesses in, granting a wish. So a lot of times, we're fundraising, right? Which speaks to my ability of collecting money. And, I enjoyed spending time on that council. And so I did that for a couple of years. And ironically, I will just share that I also have a passion for children in the community. I have another organization that I would recommend to anybody is the Boys and Girls Club of America. My girlfriend served as president of their Southern Arizona chapter for a few years. So I volunteered with her. And lastly, I do have my kids do a service project each month for Primavera Works, which is a men's homeless shelter in Tucson. And they put homeless men back to work sort of out in the community. And so my son and stepdaughter, we all make sack lunches for them each month.
Oh, that's great.
For them to take out on their job assignments. So, look, I think that a lot of your audience members are probably doing philanthropy in their communities, right? Like we all, it's a goal, I think, of everyone to give back. What I will say is that it's my passion because I want to teach my son, that it's important to give back to the community that supports us, right? Like,
absolutely.
I'm in Tucson, it's a college town. Like this is,
and I love
it's
that
just
you're
an
putting
important
your
part
family
of
into it. Yeah.
Well, then they have no choice. But
but you're teaching, you're instilling those values because there are different ways to get involved in the community. You can on the corporate level, and I've seen many different companies within the industry supporting fantastic charities or going out and doing community service, and it is incredible.
Yeah.
But then there is doing it yourself, and there's also doing it
Yeah.
with your family, or doing it with your family and friends within your community. So it's so beautiful that you pull in your family with that. That's great.
Thanks. Yeah. Look, I mean, my message would just be that I know that we can all write checks. But serving food at the community food bank, or helping out this way. I mean, I think that it's just something that I would recommend, because I think it brings you closer to what you're doing.
So to bring the topic back a little bit to the industry, let's talk about getting involved at events, because of course you can just attend an event, which is a great way of getting involved, but there is more to that. And I know you can speak to a couple of different ways about getting involved at events.
Well, I think that if you are a subject matter expert in a current event, or a current topic of the industry, or you have a specific outlook on a topic, I think submitting yourself to present on a panel with maybe some of your colleagues, like that is always a great opportunity to increase your participation at an industry event, because look, you're on the agenda and people are coming to see you and hear what you have to say. So I think that that's a great opportunity that we offer. There's certainly an opportunity to sponsor different things at our conference events, and that sort of will, get you more involved in whatever that is. For example, if it were the silent auction and it was, you're helping out with that and you're sponsoring it, or you're helping gather the items for that. So that's, you're right. There's more than you can do. There's more that you can do than just attend an RMAI event.
And so, of course, we have like RMAI annual, but coming up, we have RMAI Executive Summit. So what is the importance of getting involved in an executive summit?
Well, Executive Summit is a smaller group of folks, but, I think that the benefit of attending that conference is that, you're really able to build relationships with those folks. We are in a location that is not as busy as Las Vegas. It does change every year. This year it's in New Mexico. But you have an opportunity to really build some strong friendships with your industry colleagues. So I always recommend that you attend the Executive Summit. In terms of, what special events we have laid out, of course, I'm going to plug the Affiliate Advisory Council's networking breakfast. That breakfast is going to be an interactive discussion on some current technology topics. So I'm excited for that. The table hosts are all affiliate members. We're excited to sort of lead those conversations over breakfast. So I hope everybody is planning on attending the Executive Summit in New Mexico.
Fantastic. Yeah, I know a couple people from my organization are going, and we're really excited. It should be fantastic. Unfortunately, though, Amber, we are just running out of time now. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your experience and all about getting involved. It was really incredible to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And to our listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or if you have a topic that you would like to see us discuss, please leave it in the comments below and we will try our best to get to all of them. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next episode. Thank you.